Hello, this is Catherine Clement in Boulder, Colorado, and this is my weekly wellness Zoom. We do this every week, and I bring on a different person or people every week to talk about different subjects. If they have any, I think I'm going to throw it on gallery view since there's just three of us right now. People that have products or modalities or just wisdom to share that has to do with wellness. This came about because I deal with a pain condition that we lose about one person a month to suicide, and there's no reason for people to be in that kind of pain when there's very powerful medicine out there that works. So that's what we're going to talk about today. I'm thrilled to have this discussion because I was a registered nurse for 20 years and I dealt with the whole Western medicine, pharmaceutical side of it. And when I had my accident and wound up in 24/7 pain, pharmaceuticals did not help at all. And I honestly, even after 20 years of nursing, I didn't realize that there was pain that medicine didn't help with. Like I always thought we could just shoot somebody up with something and it would help, but it's not true. And I've been dealing with it for 11 years, and there's two things that help me: medical cannabis and an essential oil that actually has cannabinoids in it, which I just found out like this past week. I never knew why that essential oil helped, but that's why, because it has something to do with the cannabinoid system. So I want to introduce my guest. Well, I'm going to introduce one and she's going to introduce the other. I want to introduce you to just a beautiful lady. We've been friends online. We had a soul connection immediately. She's an amazing leader, and I know that she lives from her heart, and that's why we connected. And I don't really need to say anything else about her because she's going to wow you herself. So Claudia Herrera, come out, please. Let me unmute you, honey.
Hello, everybody. My name is Claudia Herrera, and I'm here to answer any questions in regards wellness, in regards love connection, and an unlimited resources that we all have within. So the subject today is cannabis, and I would love to share my story, if it's okay, Catherine, how I came into the cannabis world. The first time I tried cannabis, I was 26 years old. So needless to say, I kind of got late into that game, I think. I was born and raised in Mexico. So among a lot of people that really didn't know what cannabis was. We all know it. There's a nickname word for marijuana that I particularly don't like. There's way more than that. So during my adult life, I recognized and I studied the plant more because accidentally I got high one day and I noticed that I was in the present moment. I noticed that the past wasn't in my mind, so therefore no depression. I wasn't anxious about the future, so no anxiety. And so the next day, I had one of the best conversations with my daughter. This is recently, not when I was 26. When I was 26, I tried it. I'm like, oh, so this is getting high, whatever. Didn't really make a sense of it. Fast forward 39, 40 years old, I had the best conversation with my back then 10-year-old daughter. And she asked me, Mommy, are you drunk? And I'm like, oh, what do I tell her? But we connected. I connected because I was present. I really was amazed on why is it that I am happy? Why is it that I can be present and not worry about anything else? So the next morning, I Google about marijuana. I Google about cannabis, and there I found this whole world about mommies, about women, about pain, about lots of healing power in the plant. And then I believe in divine connections. During the process of those days, I met the other person on the line. His name is Charles Vest. And not knowing nothing about what he did, we follow up. Eventually, he invited me to something that he was doing back then. And, like I said, there's no coincidence. There's divine encounters. And he introduced me to the world of CBD. And so I didn't want to be what they call cocktail mom, or what I call cocktail mom, that you come from home to work, you get a little drink, or sometimes you get high in order to cope. I didn't want to depend on medication. I am very against medication. I am a wellness provider. I believe in holistic health and prevention medicine through medicinal plants. And so I fall in love with the potency of CBD because it's legal. It comes from hemp. And I know the importance of the THC too. And so I license myself. I am blessed to be in California. I have my license. I use cannabis often. I don't depend on it, and I love it. Other than that, I am a promoter. I promote wellness and I promote cannabis. I believe that we are deficiency. I know, not that I believe, I know that we are deficiency on cannabinoids in our system. We do have a system, whether we believe it or not, whether we know it or not, we have a system on our cellular level that is called endocannabinoid system. And we need more CBD. So I'm always looking for products that have CBD. I'm always promoting products that have CBD. And I understand people that are afraid of trying the THC part. So pretty much I'm open and I love to help, especially women with any psychological problems, any nervous system problems, because I understand where they come from. And so my connection with them is through love. And then I introduce the plant, and it's just opening their eyes to the possibilities of self-medicating with something that Earth gave us thousands and thousands of years ago. And if you have any questions, I can introduce my friend, or we can just keep talking about my experiences.
Let's let Charles come on out and share some of his goodness.
Okay. Well, let me tell you a little bit about Charles. I call him the guru of cannabis. And the reason that I call him the guru of cannabis is because he presents all this subject with such a natural way that everybody can understand. And I love that he doesn't smoke the plant, but he uses the benefits of the CBD. And he's very professional. He represents a culture of people that he himself, and he introduced me, that we have seen healed, especially children. So he has a lot of testimonials and experiences with people that have healed themselves through the plant. And I'm sure he has a new system or a skincare product that he's going to talk about. He's always into something good for us. And I mean, he's great. And here's my friend, Charles Vest, and my mentor.
Okay, there we go. I think I unmuted myself. Are we good?
Yes.
Well, that was a really nice introduction. And Catherine, I can already tell that you are someone that is very gifted, and you already have acknowledged your gifts, and others are able to benefit from them. So I definitely can sense that from you. And there's a lot of people that are being affected by you. So congratulations and thank you. And Catherine, there's so many K's and C's here, right? So Claudia is a friend of mine that I've had for a while. And one thing about Claudia that she didn't mention, and you may not know, is that when she says she's a healer, she also is gifted in the ability to, just through touch, really understand what's going on, and tell you at a very deep spiritual level the solutions. So it's easy to see the problems for some, that are gifted, but to actually give the correct solutions is another story. And when Claudia has been able to do that for many people, and when we introduced cannabis to her in the form of a non-psychoactive product, which is CBD, that's when a lot of things kind of clicked into place for Claudia and for so many other people. And so if you want, I could just give you a quick history of me, but basically here's a short version. I've been involved in actually educating the world on CBD, which is cannabidiol, for about the past 4 years. I'm considered an expert, a hemp expert, a hemp historian, and I've been really blessed to have a gift myself to kind of understand I guess you could call it the dosage, if you will, of, all the way from infant to, giving an infant CBD through a feeding tube to stop CDKL5 or intractable epilepsy or seizures. And then there's also, animals that have a huge benefit from CBD, and all the way through, the elderly with inflammation and all of the other amazing attributes of CBD and cannabis as a whole. So that's kind of, what I know a little bit about, and I'm happy to be here. And anything that you would like to hear from me or ask any questions, if I don't know the answer, then the answer is I don't know. But if I do know the answer, you'll hear what I got.
Well, I'm going to ask the most obvious question, which I already know the answer to, but for the audience to hear, are your products legal in all the states?
Okay, so as far as my products are concerned, yes, they are legal in all the states, and there is a real important item of distinction, and I'm sorry I don't know the background of the products that you may represent, Catherine, and so I'm just going to say that when it comes to CBD, there's an item of distinction, and that is that the legal CBD, which can be imported or exported all around the country, is a CBD that has to come from the stem and stock of the hemp plant, not the marijuana plant. And so if you have a way to prove that your products come from the stem and stock of the hemp plant and has basically the rule of thumb is less than 0.05 or 0.03 in some cases THC content, then I ship it all over the country all the time, and our products have it, and our products actually have zero THC. It's down to the nano size bits now for what technology's been able to do with the cannabinoids. So yes, it is legal in all 50 states and all around the country. The world as well.
Wonderful. And I wanted to bring that out because when I realized, and I'll step back into my story a little bit, I did experiment with marijuana quite a lot during my teenage years. I was a street rat, and that's what we did. And I've never been able to drink alcohol. So while all the other kids were drinking alcohol, I was, using cannabis. Then I became a mom. Then I became a nurse, for 20 years, and of course didn't have anything. Then when I had this accident, they put me on a lot of pharmaceuticals in the beginning, and at that point before my surgery, I was in suicidal pain like 24/7. It wound up being that way for 5 years. But when I realized that cannabis would help me was because I was on all these pharmaceuticals, and I got some kind of a stomach virus, and I was throwing up the gabapentin that they had me on and some of these other drugs. And I went into a withdrawal because I was taking all these doses, and then I couldn't keep it down. So I'm just on the floor. I kept saying, oh my God, I know what a heroin addict feels like now. I was so sick, just horrible. And somebody offered me some marijuana, and I'm like, I'll try anything at this point, and within 10 minutes, like I went from feeling like I was literally going to die on the floor to like 10 minutes, I was walking around going, what the hell just happened? I was so taken back at the power of this medicine, and I knew right then I was going to have to move to another state to get the medicine. And that's why I wanted to bring that out, Charles, because for some people who can use the CBD and it helps them, you don't have to move anymore because there are products available to you, and that's important to know. I do not carry any type of products myself, and I'll be quite honest, and I hate to say this because I know you're such a strong CBD proponent. CBD, I stay away from it as much as I can because THC is what helps me, and when I use CBD, it doesn't let the THC help me as much. So, and maybe we can discuss some things around that. I'm a very strange case. I have nerve pain, and even my marijuana doctor tells me you should be on high levels of CBD, and I said, well, I just have no pain control when I am. So I don't know, I have to use, when I go to the dispensary, I ask for the highest THC sativa that they have in the house, And then I do have to take one pharmaceutical at night to put me to sleep, because marijuana does not put me to sleep at all. Obviously, I wouldn't be able to do things like this, because I use about every 15 minutes from the time I get up in the morning until the time I go to bed. And when I'm on these Zooms, I'm going without 3 doses, I'm telling you. So it's powerful medicine, though, you guys. And
Well, go ahead and dose up. It's your Zoom.
really.
So I could give you a little bit of my understanding of what you're talking about, and it might help others.
Yes.
So, as Claudia alluded to, we all have a system called the endocannabinoid system, and it's, you can look it up. It's even on Wikipedia now. And so, the endocannabinoid system was discovered about 30 or 40 years ago, but it's only been really looked into as of maybe the last 10 years. And it turns out that this system that we have that controls cellular activity is primarily a transport system for CB1 receptors and CB2 receptors, which the easiest way to look at those is that CB1 receptors are primary receptors for THC. THC literally fits in the receptors perfectly. And then there's CB2 receptors, which have an affinity for CBD. It's not a perfect fit. It's more like this. And so when you think about the fact that you have two kinds of receptors, CB1 and CB2, the CB1 receptors are primarily in the brain. And they primarily are where pain sensors are. And so since CB1 receptors are really there receiving THC, that's why you have a much better issue with pain, because of the THC that you have. It's hitting the CB1 receptors. Now, for those doctors that say for pain you should use CBD, well, they don't understand the endocannabinoid system, because pain is really what THC is best for. Pain, 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 pain. Mask the pain, get rid of the pain, enjoy the pain, whatever, right? But that's what it's for. And CBD is primarily good for inflammation. Both of them have a lot of other things, but as they say, most problems start with inflammation. That's almost all problems start with inflammation, and so that's where CBD kicks in. So I don't have nothing against the fact that you don't use CBD, but I will say that that CBD topically might be something that you would consider, because it won't interact like the railroad system of the endocannabinoid system. It's not gonna stop or block the path of THC to your pain receptors.
Cool. I will try that. Yeah, it's really hilarious when I go see my doctor, because he says, yeah, you really need to be on Harlequin, which is a 1-to-1 for people that aren't familiar with strains. I know you are, obviously, but there are so many different strains of marijuana out there, you guys. And quite honestly, I hear people, I'm in forums and with other people that have pain like I do, and I hear people say, well, tell me which strain to smoke. I can't tell you that. Like, whatever works for me is not necessarily going to work for you. We're all very, very different. And there's many more chemicals or not chemicals, but components in there besides the CBD and the THC. Yes. And when I go to see my doctor and he tells me, yes, you need to be this, this, and this, and I'm like, cool, but I'm telling you that this, like he says, you need to be vaping CBD. Vaping does not help my pain. CBD does not help my pain. And maybe it's because, I have spinal cord damage. I have really severe centralized pain after 11 years. So like you said, that THC works on the brain. Because when I don't have pain control, you guys could be talking to me, I would swear you were speaking Japanese or something. My brain can't even comprehend what people are saying to me. It gets so... Ugh. And these nerves are also autonomic nerves, and so it really does affect like blood pressure and things like that. And it's very important for me to keep that under control, because it leads to more inflammation, which leads to more pain, as you're quite familiar. So I love that you have products that can be shipped around so that people don't have to move. And And the hemp-based CBD does help many people. I mean, not everybody is a tough case like I am. I've seen it help people with all kinds of different conditions. And I don't know if you, I know you have to be kind of careful what you say, Charles, so I'll let you expound on that a little bit.
Okay. Let's see. Well, first of all, I started a campaign about 3 years ago called the Don't Move campaign, and it was tough because, at the time, the marijuana community did not know that much about CBD, and the only thing they knew about hemp was to stay away from it because, it doesn't get you high and it'll mess up your crops and cross-pollination, all that jazz. And so whenever I came into town and told people, don't move, you don't have to move to Colorado, you can use a hemp-based product that I can ship to you tomorrow, it caused a lot of uproar out there in the community, and I was vilified pretty heavily. And it's just great to, like I'm going to be at a marijuana conference in 2 days in Los Angeles, and it's just great to see this marriage that finally has happened between the CBD hemp world and the marijuana world. Now, that marriage just means that we tolerate each other, right? We see the benefits of you, we see the benefits of you, and we don't fight anymore, which is great. And the more education that happens, the more we're going to realize that, like you said, there are thousands of strains of marijuana. There are 85 cannabinoids that are available. There's 85 cannabinoids that are available, and there's umpteen terpenes available. All of those have something to do with the healing product that we don't know nothing about because we're not able to research it because of the federal restrictions that have happened, and we don't even want to go into that because it's just ludicrous and ridiculous. But I will like to share you. So anytime I'm on a conference like this, I like to kind of share things that you may never ever, because I can talk about things you know about, but I'd rather share some things you may never know about. And one of the things is there's a doctor out there, you may have heard of him. His name is Dr. Robert Melamede. You ever heard of that name before? Melamede. So just like how it sounds, Melemeade, I think. So Dr. Robert Melamede is one of the few real medical doctors that understand CBD to all the way down to DNA level, and understands marijuana all the way down to the DNA level. And it took me a long time to really kind of have a conversation with him that we started to appreciate each other's knowledge. But he has this thing. It's called FLP versus BLP. In other words, flip versus blip. And what that means is, this is what Claudia was talking about, is that there's a difference between a person who is cannabidiolly endowed, okay, or someone who has almost no cannabinoids in their system. Their personality is different. And if you are, this is his words, so if you are cannabidiolly endowed, then you are a flip, FLP, which stands for forward-looking person. If you have very few cannabinoids in your system, then you are a blip, backwards-looking person. And so how does that work? Well, it's really simple. If there's a problem that comes up, you have a choice how you're going to react to it. So problem happens. If you are a flip, you don't have, you do have cannabinoids in your system, then you can look at the problem and go, how is this going to affect me in the future? Let's be creative. Let's try something new. That's a flip. Awesome. But if you are a blip, no cannabinoids, hardly any in your system, then you go, well, how has this affected me in the past? What are the things that have happened in the past that I need to look back and see, well, I'm going to stay away from this because everything that's happened in the past stops me. That's the difference between a blip and a flip. And what he did was he actually studied the last 26 presidents and could tell you which ones smoked cannabis and which ones didn't because of the way that they reacted to stress. So that's kind of an interesting thing. You're either a blip or a flip, and you can be a flip by just adding cannabinoids in your system. And here's my quiz to you. I know Claudia knows this. For people that have never smoked or didn't have any way of getting cannabinoids in their system, when was probably the last time they had any cannabinoids in their system? How did they get it?
From their mama when they were being breastfed.
They got it from their mama's milk. The last time many of people got cannabinoids. And what it did was it actually caused the suckling effect, kind of like gave the kids the munchies. So that's a little lesson for the cannabinoids, and whatever else you guys want to talk about. I'm game. It's a topic I like to have a lot of fun with.
Oh, I love that, because my daughter's, my youngest granddaughter's still on the breast, and my daughter's always making the comment, "Oh my God, she's just like an eating machine." So now I'm going to tell her it's because she's got the munchies, man. All right. Well, I want to welcome Anthony to the chat. And Anthony, do you want to come out and speak, or are you just here to listen? Do you have questions? Let me unmute you. There you go.
Okay. Hello.
Hello.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm fighting scoliosis. I'm 63, and problems started when I was in my mid-50s. I got hurt playing volleyball and had a couple surgeries on the spine, lower 4 and 5, I guess. And then later on, they said I needed one on the neck, and I let them do it. And I seemed better after that surgeries, but then as time went on, I got worse and actually started to curve. And I guess scoliosis at an older age started affecting me. And so I'm kind of leaned over to one side. I can't stand very long. I feel like I'm under a lot of stress and pain. So, but I am on like a narcotic pain reliever in that, and it really doesn't do much help. It's methadone, 60 milligrams a day. And you were mentioning that one thing might help people that are under the stress, and the other thing was for pain, but I seem to be dealing with both. And then I did hear about a strain that is actually grown for CBDs. The doctor was mentioning that it's usually from the stem and the root, and I heard that there was actual strains developed now that had no none of the stuff, none of the THC, the part that gets you high in it. But I mean, that really doesn't matter to me. I'm just wondering if I were to try something, what should I try? And I'll let you guys take it from there. Thank you, though.
Go ahead, Charles. You know how to, there you go.
Dr. Charles. So, number one, I am not a doctor, nor do I play one on TV. But, from my experience of just seeing different people with different ailments, my amateur novice experience, first of all, there's a lot of different things that you can take that helps you with pain. There's really strong narcotics and stuff, but there's a difference between dealing with pain and actually dealing with the problem that you have. And if you have a curved spine, you got a curved spine. You're not going to be able just to take something and your spine's going to get straight, right? But if you want to deal with the pain, go ahead. You go ahead and interrupt me if you want. It's no problem. But if you want to deal with the pain of your spine, then there's two ways to look at it. Like from Catherine's point of view, she wants to go straight to the pain part, and so she's looking at something high in THC. And so if you got a medical marijuana card, it doesn't matter what strain you get the high THC. That's going to be the best thing for your pain. But there's also a lot of inflammation that happens when you have disc problems, and so it could help to use a CBD strain or CBD type of product that will help you with the current inflammation that's happening. Now, what you talked about is it's a progressive situation, and you heard that there's strains that you can get that don't have any THC in it. I would say, why would you use that? I mean, you're a grown man. I would get as much THC and CBD in me as possible, and don't worry about a strain. Just get those cannabinoids in you, and then experiment with which one kind of gives you the most functionality.
Well, I grew up in the 60s in Greenwich Village, New York City. So drugs was a big thing back then and still now. And so I've had my share of all kind of, drugs and everything from LSD to pills to marijuana to heroin. I mean, I don't have a good background in that. So doctors, once they find that out, they, like I've been asking for more of a dosage on my pain medicine now, and they won't take me up any higher. But I did have a friend a while ago who had gotten a hold of some really strong stuff with the THC in it, and I vaped it, and I couldn't take it. I felt like I was having a heart attack. I got so paranoid from it, and I had a lot of experience with smoking and Acapulco Gold and Panamanian Red and all this other stuff from the 60s and that.
Well, that's exactly why I say you're going to need to experiment with whatever is the right combination for you. As Catherine said, she's found what works for her, and there's just not a one fixes all. If somebody says that here's a strain I'm going to recommend you, I think it's foolish, because we all react differently to different. I mean, here's my rule of thumb. Look at THC and CBD as a compound, okay? And look at it just like you would vitamin C. Do you know how many varieties, any variations of vitamin C you can get? How many ways you can get it in your system? How much potency is this? And you know what? Even to this day, no doctor is going to tell you how much vitamin C you need for your particular situation. Whatever, like if you have a cold or if you have something that vitamin C helps, there's not one doctor that's going to tell you how much vitamin C you need. You know why? Because they don't know. Everyone's different. It depends on how endowed you are with vitamin C at first, and how So the same thing applies to THC and CBD. And if you have a problem with addiction, that's another story. Okay, then you want to stay away from THC, period, and get as much of the non-psychoactive CBD as possible. But if you're just dealing with pain, then you're just going to have to experiment. And vaping is a good way to experiment, because you can get just a little bit, you vape it, see if it works or not. If it makes you crazy, I suggest don't use that vape anymore. Move on to another one.
Well, and you might find that, maybe that was a sativa, maybe you need an indica. I mean, there's so many different ways you can go. I had to experiment with probably 25 different strains until I found the strain that works best for me. Unfortunately, it's one of the rarer ones. It's really hard to find. It morphs really easy, which means it turns male from female, and the medicine's not, I don't want to go into all that, you guys, but you just have to try different things and see what works for you, Anthony. That's and I'll be honest, and I want Claudia, I want you to come out here before I get on my soapbox, because I will, about methadone. I almost went on methadone myself. So I'm going to come back in and talk about that. But come on out, Claudia. I want to hear from you, because I know you got some good stuff.
What is his gentleman's names again? I forgot already. Okay, Anthony, I can hear in the back of your voice you are sick and tired of being sick and tired of pain. Yes. There's a lot of emotional issues behind that, okay? So everything that we do matters, and everything that we don't do matters as well. So let's just remove cannabis for just a few seconds, okay? I know the subject is that, but there's things that you need to work with that I recommend you start ASAP. And I mean your spirit, your diet, and your emotional being. Remember that you're from the 60s, so you have to remember this. We are made out of flesh, that's our body. We are made out of emotions, that's our mindset. And we have a spirit. If the spirit is sick, our emotions and our body will get sick. If your mindset it's not the right one for you, your body and your spirit will pay the price also. So you have to work on a 3-dimensional per se. And be connected. Number one, I suggest And this is just a suggestion. I suggest you have to be connected to an unlimited source of love, whether it's family, friends, religion, or a belief system. Okay? So I don't know what your bottom line and belief system is, but you have to be connected and you have to be active every day. I think you may be at a level of pain, sorrow, and sadness, tired, that you have to go minute by minute, hour by hour. Are you praying? Are you meditating? Are you listening to the music that you love? Are you talking to friends? Are you being hugged and hugging others? Believe it or not, that is very powerful. Number 2, how's your diet? Are you eating raw food diet that is 100% detox? Or are you cooking? Are you eating just to eat, or are you eating to feel well? So go to the internet and Google what are the best foods for your case, for inflammation, for your mood, and I will start eating out of love, loving your body, loving yourself, trying to feel better. And then lastly, but very important, a belief system. What is it that you believe, and what makes you laugh? What tickles you? What are your passions? You have to, because right now you probably don't feel like it. Maybe you don't even feel like to get up. Maybe you don't feel like drinking water. Maybe you don't feel like looking out the window. It doesn't matter. Force yourself right now. Get out there. Look for friends. And I want to mention something that is very delicate. And this is for everybody, but because you are in the picture right now and I saw your face, I read physical faces. And it's nothing magical about it. I actually took a class, and our face, half of our face talks to me, and the other half, it's like a realization, okay? And so I see in your face, maybe you have to forgive somebody or ask for forgiveness. We all are carrying different issues and bags. And so I suggest you go back and maybe write journals. Maybe you need to make a phone call that you know that you have to make that you haven't made. Maybe that somebody or some person that is very meaningful or left something very meaningful in your life, it's not alive anymore, but you can still make peace with it. So overall, what I'm telling you, Anthony, is that you have to work in your spirit. You have to feed your body the right type of food, and you have to be connected through something that loves you back, and you have to give love. And then on top of that, you do cannabis. And I wouldn't be surprised that in 90 days from now, if you really, really reinvent your life, you'll be probably 50% better with pain, but with peace. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I'm not sure what's legal here in Mississippi. I think that it's legal for medical use, so I may be okay there, but I'll have to check more into that. The reason I'm a little apprehensive is I am strongly connected and active at church, and I am, when I was going like this before, I didn't want to ask a question. I was saying, I'm trusting in the great physician, and I don't want to take my focus off that and put my hopes in something else, because I really think that he is the answer and
main source. Yes.
So, right. I don't want to seem like I'm abandoning that to.
You're not.
Else, and so
you're not. You just need to remember, faith it's the weirdest thing, because we need to believe, and this is just something silly, but that's how I talk to my kids, and it makes sense for me. If you're going to be on the highest peak or a mountain or a building near your house, faith is jumping off knowing that you're going to be catch. That's pretty strong. That's very strong. A lot of people, we say, yes, I have faith. Of course, the Lord, this and that. Do we? So work on that and work on your diet. Really, it's 90% diet, 90% emotion, 10% medicine. I've been doing wellness for over 20 years. I'm a massage therapist, and I do a lot of consultation. And I learned eight patients out of 10, it's their emotions. We are full of things since we're babies. We carry things that we don't even know they're there. And you don't even have to know or acknowledge, But it wouldn't be bad to just start making peace and remembering. Maybe hypnosis will work. Hypnosis definitely will work. I don't know. Can you exercise? Is there any type of exercise? Can you do on the water exercise or stretching at a same place? You know, meditating with aromatherapy.
Just even walking is hard for me, or to stand up for any period of time without the cane or help.
Mm-hmm.
I probably walk less than 1,000 steps a day, and about 400 of that is I walk up down the road a little bit, a few houses and back, and it's hard for me to make it back sometimes. It's really,
Yes.
I'm fighting a lot of pain.
Can I ask a few questions?
He wants to pull me over and down and hunch me. Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
When did your sharp pain and when did you really start struggling so much that you're asking for help? Like, how long have you been dealing with this sharp pain?
6 years, probably.
Yeah. Okay. You don't have to answer this next one, but ask yourself, what happened about 6-7 years ago in your life? Something happened in your life very strong. You don't have to say to us.
It was probably my marriage. It was going downhill, and I'm divorced now, and it was a really painful thing. But I mean, I believe I forgave her, and that. So I mean, I went through like a 12-step thing.
And you know that cannabis can help you with that. Cannabis works on our mind so beautifully. I'm so thankful for the plant. When you use cannabis the next time and you are on that level, you're that high, search for that. Go back 6 years and make peace with her. You know, put yourself in front of her and tell her, you know, and then tell yourself it's okay. It's okay. I am okay and we'll be okay, and make peace with that, because I believe and we all do this. We carry stuff without even knowing. Always the iceberg at the bottom of the ocean, it's way bigger than the peak. Right now you're telling us what hurts, but there's a deeper area that I suggest you work with. And I think cannabis can help you go there, because like I said, like Charles said, it takes away the future. So the anxiety, the anxiety and fear goes hand by hand, because we don't know what's coming. That's fear of the future. So it gives us anxiety. And then the past, which 6 years ago, gives us depression, sadness. So find a string and find the area that you are in the present, being thankful for what you do have, the health that you do have. You are alive, you are breathing, you are listening, you have a bed, you have a computer. Make a list in your mind and even write it down about the things that you are thankful for. Keep searching for that cannabis, either oil, vape, edibles, that makes you in the present moment, and make peace with whatever you have to make peace. And then we just work on your diet. And I believe you're going to be, I'm not saying perfect, because nobody is. We all have some fight, either spiritual, emotional, or physical. But I think you're going to do better if you work on that. And God bless you.
Thank you.
And Charles, I know you said, thank you so much, Claudia, and we're going to talk some more.
Okay.
Charles, I know you said you had to maybe leave after 45 minutes, so I just want to give you the opportunity to step back in. Please give everyone your contact information so that they can get in touch with you about products and stuff if they're in a state that doesn't have legalized medicine.
Yeah, sure. So you can get a hold of me by just simply, going to my Facebook, which is Charles Vest, and you can find me there. Or you can email me at charles.vest, which is V like Victor, EST, so charles.vest @gmail.com. And you can, ask questions or whatever. I can give you my contact information at that point, more contact information. But I think as a going away kind of bit of information, I reached into my drawer and I pulled out this this black tarry substance here. And what this is look at that. It's pretty heavy looking stuff.
Oil.
Yeah.
Tart.
That is actually CBD oil waste. So when the CBD oil is made, the good stuff goes here and the bad stuff goes there. And so this CBD oil waste is still very high in CBD, about 5%. And if you have any access to CBD oil, and you have any animals that have those cysts that show up on a dog's legs, or you have those sores that happen out of nowhere, CBD is the way to go. And so just letting you know, you can look it up online. You can find CBD oil. The cheapest one you can find is really good for your animals. And I wouldn't be surprised if over the next, I think it's about 6 months, you're actually going to be able to get CBD oil, hemp oil, from big box stores that are now finally starting to figure it out. Obviously, if you go into any health food store, you're going to find hemp products there all throughout the store. You used to not find hardly any. Now you find seeds and hearts and milk and water and all kinds of things. And, just so you know, there's lots of new products out there. This right here is a product that a lot of people don't know about. It's CBD water. So it's CBD all the way down to the nanobite size. Normal CBD is sitting at about 1,000 nanobites. So, let's just say this is 1,000. Well, this is the molecules brought all the way down to 40. So it gets right into the bloodstream, right into your system immediately, and now it comes in the form of water. So not bad there. And there's also a skincare line we're launching in just about a week, maybe 2 weeks, and it's called the Cannaceuticals. And if you want to see the skincare, because what is the largest organ in our body?
Skin.
The skin, right. And so when you start looking at it that way, you can get CBD through the skin. Inflammation is the problem that we all have with aging. That's inflammation and oxidation. And so CBD is extremely, if you look it up, it's a very, very strong antioxidant and anti-inflammatory, and some of the best ways to get your 3, 6, and 9 omegas and fatty acids as well. So with that said, you can go to cbdskincream.com, CBD Skin Cream, and you will see the products that we have, but you won't be able to get them. You'll just be able to see them. And if you want to get them, then you can contact me. And actually, Claudia is going to be representing the product line, because we went and looked for we want someone who understands health and wellness, has a spiritual aspect, knows about CBD, and speaks English and Spanish. But boom, there she is, Claudia Herrera. So she's going to be representing our product line, and she'll be getting her products before everyone else. So you can also contact Claudia for those too.
Thank you, Charles.
Thank you.
And Charles, do I have permission to put your contact information on the YouTube video when I post this?
Sure.
Okay.
No problem.
I'll get you guys the replays. I just want to thank you so much, Charles, for your time and for everything that you do to help people. I became aware of you and met you. Oh, look at that. You have more to tell us about.
That's the skincare. That's what it looks like.
Oh, beautiful. Beautiful. Yeah.
You met me before?
I met you a few years ago through a different company, and I'm no longer with them, and I haven't really kept up with you to see what all you're doing, but I knew that you had been in the industry a while, and when Claudia said, can I invite a friend, and gave me the name, I'm like, yeah, I know who that is. Get him on there. So
yeah.
I appreciate it. And,
infamous. I am infamous, yes.
I would love to have this conversation again at a later date, maybe occasionally. This is something that many people need to learn about, and I do energy work. Anthony, I've got some some recordings I'm going to send your way that may be able to shift some things for you. And when we have these things that affect us, you know, we have to develop a toolbox of all these different things to use, because it's not just swallow one pill and that takes care of it. You know, like you said, Claudia, you have to address all the different levels. And we can carry stuff. Oh my gosh, we can carry stuff for a long, long time in our bodies. And you can usually tell, because if you're talking about it and you can feel something pinging in your body, you know you've got some stuck energy there you need to release. So we can help you maybe on several levels. Anthony, I'd love to put you into my wellness group on Facebook, and Charles, if you want to be added. And Claudia, you're already in there, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, it's just a wellness group. We focus on holistic wellness. People are welcome to put up, if they do have a product or something that helps, they're welcome to put up their things in there. Because we had the last girl that took her life because she couldn't get the surgery that she needed. I just felt like it was like 2 days after she took her life that I found about this. It's a medical procedure. It's like a surgery, but still it was an option. And I knew then that I needed to have some place publicly to speak about things that help people with pain and emotions and things, because I've been there. I've been where she was, and I'm still here today, and I can talk about it, and I will talk about it, whatever can help. So thank you, Charles. I so appreciate you being here. And
You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you for the invite. And anytime you would like me to come in and have the opportunity to share some of the things that I have learned, I'm more than happy to come and share that with you. So I appreciate the time. And thank you guys all for listening. And thank you, Claudia, for the invite as well.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. We'll talk again.
Okay.
And Claudia, I hope you can hang out for a few more minutes here.
Yes, I can. I have time.
Wonderful. So Anthony, and I know that you're aware of this just from what you've said. You understand that that emotions can cause issues and stuff. But I also want to bring something else up that maybe no one else has suggested to you. And it's because it's rare, but it happens to be a birth defect that I have. Have they checked you for a tethered spinal cord?
I'm not sure what they've checked for. I mean, I've been to two different surgeons for the two surgeries, one on the lower back, one on the neck. And they did mention that there was arthritis involved and it was debilitating as well. And one thing was making the other worse. And I guess it's something called like oxidative stress that as we get older, it's kind of like rust on a pipe, you know, way on you. It's like a pipe sitting outside. It's eventually going to rust away and be just a pile of dust. And so that's what happens to people as they age. And I do take one supplement, and it has to do with something in our body you probably never heard of, because my doctor's never heard of it, but it's called glutathione.
I know glutathione very well.
So I take this product called Celgevity. It is not glutathione. You can buy glutathione like at Walgreens or something, but it's such a delicate substance that our digestive system destroys it. And so this one doctor worked for like 25 years. He's one of the top 200 scientists in the nation in the world over the last 100 years. He worked for the VA hospital. He was an editor of a medical journal and had a bunch of AIDS patients and so on and so forth, that he was just trying to get up out of bed so they could make it to a doctor's appointment. And he was working on something to help bring them back some strength. And he found this patented substance called ribosine, which is in this product, Celgevity, that increases the glutathione. So like I said, it is not glutathione. It's small enough to get in through the cell walls, into the cells of our body, and then multiplies what we have left, which starts dissipating as early as in our 20s, the glutathione. So by the time we get to 40s, 50s, and 60s, it's been 20, 30, 40 years that we've been not making the glutathione like we did when we were young. And the way they explain it is that's why you don't see, 5, 8, 10, 15-year-old children very often with like cancers and diabetes and, different things, Alzheimer's that plague older folks. It's because without glutathione, they say we're dead. So it's as important as air, food, and water. So that's the one thing I take, and I don't know. It's a company called Max International that I get it through, and I started that about 5, 6 years ago, and really felt, 7 or 8 maybe now, felt like I was dying. I really did, and I thought it was pretty much over for me. I couldn't believe it. I heard somebody talking about it, and it helped me a lot. It changed my outlook on life. I felt like it may not be over. I had something to look forward to, and so on and so forth. It was a big help. I've stayed on it all these years at the cost of about $80 a month, which I don't really like spending, but for what it did for me, I don't want to really be without it. That's all I could say about what else I take.
Mm-hmm. And what kind of diet are you on, Anthony? What kind of food are you eating?
Terrible fast food, something fast and easy, frozen dinners, or, I try to buy, lean and healthy or healthy cuisine, whatever they're called, frozen stuff like that. But I'm sure it's not anything good. And I do eat some, it's called Ezekiel bread. I don't know if you ever heard of that. For breakfast in the morning with some, a little bit of coconut oil and some peanut butter and honey on it. But it's probably the most healthy thing I eat, I guess.
Yeah, I completely understand, Anthony, about, first of all, when you have been disabled for a while, your money situation goes down the drain, so you don't have hardly any money to buy food with to begin with. And then you don't have the strength to be upright, to prepare a really, nice dinner. But you always, there are options. People say, oh, you should juice. Well, have you ever tried juicing? It's actually quite a lot of work if it's difficult to stand up. I actually use, because I have spinal cord damage from a tethered spinal cord, which is why I asked you that, because people that have a tethered spinal cord, sometimes they'll get pulled into scoliosis because your spinal cord is supposed to free float. And when your spinal cord is tethered, it's stretched, and you get nerve damage at every level between every vertebrae. You get the nerve damage because your spinal cord is stretched. But what they can go, and what it does is it sometimes causes the spine to fold like that, So I'd have them check your MRI. Most doctors are not familiar with it. I'm completely 100% blessed that I found the surgeon that I did, because I had 2 other surgeons tell me it was a disc surgery I needed. I knew it wasn't. I asked for my guides to please show me the right doctor, went to the phone book, ran my finger down, and found this Eastern Indian doctor that 20 years ago, they did research on this spinal cord birth defect that I had, and that's how he picked up on it. I mean, it's so bizarre, my life. It's crazy. But, there are some other things, and there's just having a diet like that and being in pain. Another thing you need to realize is how it affects your gut. I'm sure you probably have gut issues by now. But I want you to remember that just because you're aging does not mean that, yes, oxidative stress rises in people who are aging if they're not addressing it. But there's so many things that you can do to counteract oxidative stress that you can actually, your body is constantly renewing, replenishing, regrowing, replacing. You can heal from where you're at. And you just have to get the right things in place. And maybe you can't fix all of it. Like, I still have 24/7 nerve pain, even though I do all of these amazing things for myself. But you know what? I'm in pain, but I don't suffer. I'm happy every moment. I enjoy every moment, even though I'm in pain. And that so takes away from what the pain does to you. And Claudia, I want you to come back in here because I know you have more gold on this subject.
Yeah. Well, you're right about even though we are in pain, it can be emotional pain, it can be physical pain. The hardest part for us, we're so visual, we're such a humanoids that we think we can fix everything. And the answer is always in something that we cannot smell, we cannot touch, we cannot hear, we cannot hang out with. It's within us. Most of the time, everything that we cannot see or touch, it's love. It's made out of peace. It's made out of our spirit. And so a lot of people say it's a mindset. I always use that word because you learn how to be like that, Catherine. You didn't just came up with that. You learn through the years that you have to make peace with certain things, that you have to make certain changes. And you probably went through a lot of walls that you had to break. Economically, physically, we lose family, we lose friends because we're crazy, right? We are like the crazy people in our tribes, in our family, in our towns, because we go against the system. We believe that, like you said, the doctor tells you that you should have higher dosage of CBD, but you have tried and you know what's best for you. Why? Because you listen to your body, because you have read the books and did the homework, because only you know the level of pain and what you need. So I tell my mom and my grandmother and people they put so much faith into doctors. They put so much faith into systems. And I'm a rebel when it comes to that, because if it worked, hospitals wouldn't be packed, right? If they really work and they knew what they were doing, we wouldn't be sick all the time. Obviously, it doesn't work. So with that saying and accepting the fact that we should listen to ourselves, it's time to do our homework. It's time to study. It's time to read. It's time to ask the questions that nobody wants to ask, and realize that we're going to be radicalized. We're going to be bullied. We're going to hit ourselves with walls, and it's human walls. It's attitude. And once we break those walls, which is not easy, the answer is on the other side. And so I'm so glad that you have this platform, this opportunity for people to freely just come and like Anthony, with honestly and pain and sorrow, say, hey, raise my hand. I need help. I need help. We all need help. We all are struggling with something. So it's very important that we listen to our bodies and that we do what we can with what we have. Okay, I want to repeat that. You do what you can with what you have. Okay, so I'm not talking to break out the piggy bank. I'm not talking to just go crazy and sign up with whatever product. I'm talking, what is it that you have in front of you and your possibilities to make your life better? Okay, so we have a brain. We have to change our thinking. We have to read. If we have internet, my God, you're a millionaire compared to the rest of the world. If you have a gadget, a TV, a tablet, or a phone, and you have internet, you have the world in your hands, and it's up to you how you spend your time educating yourself. What is out there that can benefit me? Okay, so what I do, I always, and this is how I learned English too. I'm like, okay, I need to talk to myself out loud and listen to myself out loud, because guess what? We are listening to ourselves. Don't we talk to ourselves all the time? Sometimes not out loud, but we're always thinking. Okay, so I know I jump all over the place, but I'm so excited because I know that this meetings can change people's life with one little word. It's very, very gentle, but we can change people's lives because we're planting seeds. So just remember that if you're talking to yourself, be kind. If you are listening to yourself, be respectful with yourself and your body. So is Anthony still here with us? Okay, Anthony, you said that you're eating like crap. I don't like that. Do whatever you can, Anthony, to eat fresh fruits and vegetables. You don't even have to go organic. I mean, people get crazy with organic, and of course I recommend you eat organic, fresh vegetables and fruits. But hey, start with what you can. You do what you can with what you have. And change your taste buds. Change your way of eating and your habits. I love that you're doing Ezekiel bread with coconut oil and honey and peanut butter. That is excellent. That's that's what I give to my kids every morning too. And they're like, where are there pancakes? No pancakes. So if you start your day like that, great. Now continue your day like that, because it's like going to the gym and then smoking. What's the point? So you had a great breakfast. Keep your day great. Do snacks, an apple here, whatever is on sale on the store, whatever you can get. And it's 5 to 6 meals a day. And raw. If you have to chew and it's fresh and your glands in your mouth, water, you're eating the right stuff. Okay, the more crunchier the vegetables and the fruits are, the better. You don't have to love them at first. But if you think, this is how I tell myself. Every time you put a fork in closer to your mouth, ask yourself, my battery. Every time you put the fork in front of you, ask yourself, am I feeding myself just to feed myself, or am I feeding my body to be well? Am I hungry or am I thirsty? Because sometimes we're thirsty and we don't know, we just eat. Like me, I tend to overeat. So always ask yourself, what do you see in your plate? Are there colors? You can do the color diet. The more vibrant colors, the better. Okay, so that means that stay away from beige and white, bread, corn, potatoes, anything with flour. Try to stay away from it. Even if you eat less and stay hungry, it's okay. Nothing's going to happen to you. Have an apple. Have a pear. I don't know what part of the country are you, but if you can, I can even find fruit at the 99-cent store. They have fruit and vegetables there sometimes here in California. But yeah, try to do legumes, grains, good oils, not vegetable oil. The good oils are from the seeds. And just salads, and play with your food. Be playful. You have to like it. If not, you're not going to eat it. We have to like what we eat it. So just be playful, change a little bit your diet, and always think of loving yourself. When you eat out of loving yourself, you won't eat crap anymore because you love yourself. And that's I'm going to leave you with that question, Anthony. Are you loving yourself enough? Love yourself so much that everybody else thinks like, man, we have to love ourselves. Who else besides God? And we already know that he loves us. Now you are the second being, because God is not a person, but you are the second being in the universe that are responsible to love yourself so much that every single thing that you're going to do is for your well-being.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. And Anthony, I have to say that, because of, and I mentioned it, well, I don't know if I mentioned it early, because I was on another Zoom right before this one, and I'm confused with what I've said now. But within, I had my accident, and in less than 3 years, I lost my home because they were, the insurance was fighting, and they don't want to pay anything and all this stuff. So I have still never gotten back financially to a place where I own my own home again, even though it's been 11 years. And I currently live without refrigeration. And so it's actually, it's easy for me to just eat raw fruits and vegetables. Number one, I don't need a refrigerator, for that. And I don't have to cook anything. I don't have to do dishes, because doing dishes hurts, to stand up to do the dishes. So really, for somebody that is very limited in what they can do, the fresh fruits and vegetables is really a great way to go. I think Juicing is better nutritionally, but it's way more costlier. It takes a lot of fruits and vegetables to make juice, and it's amazing
Yes.
for you. And like you said, Claudia, of course, if you can afford organic, by all means do it. But if you can't afford organic, if you're eating primarily raw fruits and vegetables, your body is getting the things that it needs to detoxify itself very, very well. Very, I don't do any meats. I don't do any dairy. I don't do eggs. I'm completely vegan and primarily raw. But I'll tell you another reason I am is because I told you that pain affects your body. My gut started growing things that have to be cut out every 3 years, adenomas, and every 3 years I have to go in and they cut these things out. And I asked the doctor, I'm like, okay, your plan really sucks.
No kidding.
Getting something cut out every 3 years, what can I do to prevent these from growing in there to begin with?
It's like they're pruning a tree.
Right,
Correct?
right. And he said, well, the only thing I can tell you, and I was even shocked to hear this come out of an MD's mouth, to tell you the truth. I think it's only because of where I live. But he said, I can tell you that if you stop eating meat, you'll decrease your chance by 40%. That is a huge statistic that most people have no idea about.
It is.
And if you think about it, if you eat meat, you're eating something that is dead and decaying from the moment it's killed and the life is gone from it. It is dead and decaying. You're putting it in your body. Your body's having to break down dead and decaying stuff. I mean, it's just, we have been, from the moment we're born, we've been programmed by the Meat and Dairy Association to eat what made them money. And they told us it was healthy. And that's a huge lie that most people fall into. And I could talk, I know it's like an hour and 15 minutes. I could talk for hours on this subject.
Oh, yeah.
But Anthony, I would love for you to join the wellness group on Facebook, and we'll get you some things, some tools that can really help you, honey. Okay? All right. Thank you so much. It's been such a blessing to speak with you, Claudia. I just love you. We connected, immediately when we met, and we're on the same.
Let's keep going. Let me know when you have another meeting, and if I'm here. Today you got me at a little trader house. We took a Labor Day mini vacation, my family and me, and I'm like, I'm staying in the trader. You guys go to the beach. So they're a block from here at the beach. I'm gonna go join them.
Oh, good.
And we're gonna get home 45 minutes from here. I love you.
I love you too.
God bless you, and we'll stay in touch.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Anthony. I'll get everyone the replay.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Be blessed.
Bless you.